The scary thing narcissists do when they see you're a tough nut to crack. Have you ever wondered what happens when a narcissist realizes you're not as easy to control as they thought? What if they see that you're stronger than they expected, that you're not someone who can be easily manipulated? It's a moment that completely throws them off balance because, up until now, they've relied on their usual tactics: manipulation, guilt-tripping, love-bombing, and gaslighting to keep people under their control. But when they come across someone who sees through their games, someone who refuses to play along, it shakes them to their very core. Suddenly, they realize that you're not just another person they can toy with, but someone who can stand their ground. This moment of realization is something narcissists dread because it threatens the foundation of their entire personality. They spent their lives perfecting their ability to manipulate, deceive, and dominate others. So when they encounter someone who resists their control, it triggers deep fear and rage within them. They don't know how to handle someone who refuses to be fooled, someone who isn't afraid to walk away. And when they reach this breaking point, their reactions can be extreme, unpredictable, and sometimes even terrifying. At first, they may try to test you, pushing your boundaries just to see if you'll give in. They might increase their efforts to manipulate you, trying different tactics to see if any of them will work. But when they see that you remain firm, that you're not bending to their will, that's when things take a darker turn. They may lash out in anger, becoming aggressive or cruel in their attempts to break you down. If they can't control you through charm and deception, they may resort to intimidation, guilt, or even smear campaigns to try and ruin your reputation. This is why it's so important to be aware of their reactions. When a narcissist realizes they can't manipulate you, they won't just give up quietly. They will fight to regain their power, using every trick they have to make you doubt yourself. They might act as if they're the victim, trying to turn others against you. Or they might disappear for a while, hoping that their absence will make you miss them and weaken your resolve. Whatever their reaction, it's all designed to pull you back into their control. In this video, we're going to dive deep into the shocking and sometimes frightening things narcissists do when they realize they can't manipulate you. These behaviors are not only disturbing, but also crucial to recognize so that you can protect yourself. Make sure you watch until the end, because you'll want to be fully prepared for what's coming. Before we begin, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with anyone who might need it. Awareness is power, and the more people who understand these toxic behaviors, the harder it becomes for narcissists to succeed in their manipulation. Now, let's get started. When a narcissist comes across someone they can't easily manipulate, their reaction is anything but calm or composed. In their world, control is everything. The moment they realize they don't have the upper hand, their entire sense of power is shaken. It's not just a minor inconvenience for them. It's a direct threat to their carefully crafted illusion of dominance. And when that illusion starts to crumble, they panic. But instead of showing weakness, they go into full survival mode, doing whatever it takes to regain control. At first, they won't make it obvious. They'll test the waters, pushing and prodding at your boundaries in subtle ways to see if they can find a weak spot. They may act charming one moment and cold the next, leaving you confused and off balance. This isn't random, it's a calculated strategy. They're looking for any sign of doubt, any hesitation that they can exploit. If they sense even the slightest vulnerability, they'll double down on their manipulation, using every trick in their book to pull you back under their influence. Gaslighting becomes their weapon of choice, and they will use it more aggressively than ever. They'll make you question your own reality, twisting your words until you start to doubt yourself. They'll rewrite history, insisting that events happened differently than you remember. They'll frame themselves as the reasonable one and make you feel like you're overreacting or imagining things. Their goal is simple: to make you so uncertain of your own thoughts and feelings that you start relying on them for validation. But if their mind games don't work, if you stand firm and refuse to be manipulated, things take a darker turn. Narcissists despise losing control, and when they feel it slipping away, they become desperate. If they can't break you psychologically, they'll try to shift the narrative entirely. Instead of the manipulator, they'll suddenly play the victim. They'll act as if you're the one hurting them, twisting the situation so that they appear to be the one suffering. This is when the smear campaigns begin. If they can't get to you directly, they'll go after your reputation. They'll spread lies about you, telling others that you're the difficult one, the unstable one, the abuser. They'll gather allies, friends, family, co-workers, turning them against you to make you feel isolated. The more people they can convince, the harder it becomes for you to defend yourself. For the narcissist, it's all about damage control. If they can't manipulate you anymore, they'll try to control how others see you. Their greatest fear is being exposed for who they truly are. So they'll do whatever it takes to make sure you're the one who looks bad instead. It's a last-ditch effort to maintain the illusion of power, even as it slips further and further from their grasp. If that doesn't work, they don't just give up. Instead, they resort to more extreme tactics, pulling out every trick they can think of to regain control. One of the first things they might try is love-bombing you all over again. Just like in the beginning, they'll pour on the charm, showering you with compliments, attention, and affection. They'll say everything you ever wanted to hear, acting as though they've had a sudden change of heart. They might even apologize, something they rarely do, just to convince you that they've finally changed. But it's all an act, a desperate attempt to pull you back into their web. They will study you, looking for any emotional weak spot they can exploit. If they know you value loyalty, they'll promise to be a better friend or partner. If they know you have a forgiving heart, they'll guilt-trip you, playing on your empathy. If you have shared memories or a long history together, they'll use nostalgia as a weapon, reminding you of the good times, in an effort to make you second-guess your decision. They will try to make you feel like you're making a mistake by leaving them behind. But this isn't about love, and it's not about change. It's about power. And here's where things take a truly terrifying turn. When they realize that none of their usual tricks are working, when they finally understand that you are truly out of their grip, something inside them snaps. The charming, charismatic mask they've worn for so long suddenly disappears. The person who once seemed so confident, so in control, is now consumed by raw, unfiltered rage. It's as if they can no longer hide the darkness that has always been lurking just beneath the surface. This is when they can become dangerous, unpredictable, and even desperate. Their anger isn't just about losing you, it's about losing control. And for a narcissist, that loss is unbearable. They might lash out verbally, throwing cruel insults your way in an attempt to break your spirit. They might try to humiliate you, dragging up old wounds and personal secrets to hurt you as deeply as possible. And if you still refuse to give in, their behavior can escalate further. Some narcissists, when faced with an unbreakable target, may eventually give up and walk away, deciding it's easier to move on to someone new. They'll find a fresh victim, someone who doesn't see through their manipulation yet, and they'll start the cycle all over again. But others? They don't let go so easily. For these narcissists, losing isn't an option. They become obsessed, unable to accept that someone they once controlled has slipped through their fingers. They might stalk you, keeping tabs on your every move, watching from the shadows as they look for a way back in. They could start monitoring your social media, waiting for any sign of vulnerability, any hint that you might be missing them or reconsidering. They may even use flying monkeys, mutual friends, or fake accounts to gather information about you without you realizing it. If they can't reach you directly, they'll find subtle ways to reinsert themselves into your life. Maybe they suddenly run into you at your favorite coffee shop or start showing up in places you frequent. Maybe they send cryptic messages or reminders of the past, just enough to make their presence known. It's all about proving to themselves that they still have power over you. They can't stand the idea of you moving on, healing, and thriving without them. And so, they continue to linger, hoping for even the smallest crack in your defenses. And the scariest part? A narcissist who realizes they've lost control doesn't just accept defeat. They unravel in ways that can be deeply unsettling. Their entire sense of self is built on the illusion of power, and when that illusion shatters, their reaction can be extreme. Some lash out at those around them, directing their anger at anyone who dares to remind them of their failure. They may become crueler than ever, saying and doing things meant to cut deep, hoping that if they can't have control, at least they can cause as much damage as possible. Others turn their destruction inward, sabotaging themselves in a downward spiral of paranoia, rage, and reckless behavior. For some narcissists, the idea of losing control is so unbearable that they will do anything to convince themselves, and others, that they are still in charge. They might create elaborate, manipulative schemes in a desperate attempt to regain the upper hand. These plans can be carefully crafted, designed to make you second-guess your decisions, feel guilty, or even believe that they've changed. They may pull others into their game, recruiting flying monkeys to spread false narratives, twist the truth, and paint themselves as the victim. In their mind, they are not defeated yet. Others may take their obsession even further, stalking, monitoring, or lurking in the background of your life just to prove to themselves that you haven't truly escaped their grasp. Some will try to destroy your reputation, smearing your name to anyone who will listen, hoping that if they can't control you directly, they can at least control how others see you. They may spread lies, distort reality, and fabricate stories to make you look like the villain. It's not about truth. It's about rewriting the story so they don't have to face their own failure. And then there are those who crumble under the weight of their own deception. When all their usual tricks fail, when they see that their power is slipping through their fingers, some narcissists fall into deep despair. They may spiral into self-pity, playing the victim to anyone who will listen, hoping that sympathy will give them one last chance to regain influence. Others may isolate themselves, consumed by bitterness and resentment, unable to face the reality that they have lost. But no matter how they react, whether through rage, manipulation, or complete self-destruction, the truth remains the same. Once a narcissist realizes they have lost control for good, they are left with the one thing they have spent their entire lives running from, their own emptiness. Without someone to manipulate, without a person to feed off emotionally, they are forced to sit with themselves. And for a narcissist, there is no worse fate than being left alone with the truth of who they are. They may try to avoid this reality by lashing out, desperately seeking another target to fill the void. Some will jump from one person to the next, hoping to find someone new to manipulate, someone who will validate them and make them feel important again. Others will retreat into self-pity, acting as if they are the victim, hoping to gain sympathy from those who don't yet see through their act. And for some, the weight of their own behavior becomes unbearable, leading them to spiral into paranoia, isolation, or reckless self-destruction. So what should you do if you ever find yourself in this situation? The most important thing is to remain firm and unwavering in your boundaries. Do not engage, do not explain yourself, and do not fall into the trap of trying to make them see reason. Narcissists thrive on emotional reactions, whether it's anger, sadness, or even pity. The more energy you give them, the more power they feel they have over you. But if you refuse to react, if you cut off their supply completely, they are left with nothing to work with. That is the one thing they cannot handle. This is why no contact, or at the very least, strict boundaries, is so crucial when dealing with a narcissist who has lost control over you. If you can, walk away completely. Block them, remove them from your life, and resist the temptation to check in on them or see what they are doing. If you must interact with them due to shared responsibilities, keep your communication brief, emotionless, and to the point. Do not give them anything they can use against you. Most importantly, trust yourself. Narcissists are masters of creating doubt, making you question your own judgment, and playing on your emotions to get another chance. But if you have reached this point, it means you have already seen through their facade. Hold on to that truth. Their behavior is a reflection of them, not you. Their inability to take accountability, their desperate need for control, their toxic cycles of manipulation, none of it is your responsibility. You are not to blame for their actions, and you are not responsible for their healing. Thank you for watching. If this message resonated with you, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear this today. Your support helps spread awareness about the reality of narcissistic abuse and empowers more people to break free. Have you ever experienced this moment when a narcissist realizes they've lost control? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your experiences. Let's continue this conversation, support one another, and as always, take care and stay empowered.